ジェネレーション階段を上がれ上がれ、そして越えますか、繋がれますか、僕の声の上がるしかないよな Stay away。
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Welcome to SushiBites. About 5 years ago, in episode 115 of SushiBites... Oh, sorry, you can't hear me with the song. About 5 years ago, in episode 115 of SushiBites, I talked briefly about a game called Stayhomer as something of a cheeky little bonus. I'm just going to recycle that couple of minutes if you don't mind, since it is entirely relevant to today's game. Take it away, past me. Games that would not work as a full-length episode. This is Stayhomer. It's available on Steam for about $3. Developed by Japanese shitposter Noto Muteki, you play as a special police unit named Stayhomer. It's your job to disinfect the anti-lockdown protesters within 3 minutes. Otherwise, the USA will launch a nuclear missile upon Japan. It's a topical, political statement, and a joke that lasts for about 15 minutes if you go for all 3 endings. And no doubt a game that will seem super dated at whatever time in the future this chaos in the world is finally over. The secret ending sequence is hilarious. With Japan disinfected, Tokyo 2020 can now proceed as planned. Instead of the infamous ceremonial torch used in this international sporting event, Stayhomer lights a pile of corpses to mark the opening ceremony. Dark humour, but an utterly brilliant jab at the current world we find ourselves in. We really rolled double ones this year for luck, didn't we? This has been SushiBites. Thanks for watching. As I said in the clip, Stayhomer was developed by military otaku Noto Muteki. They're a one-person development team with a Patreon and fanbox, alongside a presence on X, formerly Twitter. Since the release of Stayhomer, I've been keeping an eye on Muteki-san's game development from a distance, hoping to check out his next project when it finally hits our unsuspecting world. In 2024, Noto Muteki's next game, Kinki Spiritual Affairs Bureau, was released on Steam. Based on the kanji used, the kinki in the name refers to the traditional meaning of this Japanese word, in or around the capital. The game takes place in Nara, which is in Japan's major economic region. That's why they use the word kinki. I love learning on this show. Although its initial release was in 2024, Kinki Spiritual Affairs Bureau has also seen a release on consoles as well, and I would like to congratulate Muteki-san on graduating to a console release. Omedetou. Amata Games has handled the publishing, and the guide price is $13. They could have easily charged more. I think that's a banging price. I only got around to playing KSAB a couple of weeks ago, and I'm kicking myself for not having jumped on this right away when it launched last year. If you were to simplify this game as much as possible, then I would say it's a third-person shooter with stealth mechanics. The trailer really doesn't quite show how batshit insane crazy this game actually is, and also makes KSAB look like Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D or like a turret shooter. I would have enjoyed that as well, but I think it's really more akin to something like 2014's Ground Zeroes, though with significantly more jank. What's the story? Morning Glory. You play as Shiraishi, full name Mizuki Shirakawa, a special agent working for the Spiritual Affairs Bureau. Of her own volition, she travels to Saiga Village in Nara after their official town social media accounts suddenly disappeared. Normally this wouldn't be something to worry about. Accounts close all the time, right? Well, 2 things. Firstly, the account's final tweet was full-scale spiritual attack before their account closed, which is fairly suspicious. And secondly, Shiraishi-san had won a competition prize from a giveaway, but the account was closed before she could claim it. And you don't get between a girl and her kuchikamizaki. Kuchikamizaki is a type of sake made using rice that has been chewed. The saliva acts as a fermentation catalyst, and you know what? I've had worse. Once a pizza fell on the kitchen floor, I ate it anyway, and I had gut rot for a week. So yeah, I'd drink chewed sake. For sure I would give that a go for the vine. The game begins in the settlements just outside Saiga, where a number of spirits have gathered. Shiraishi faces off against several spirits, including Satoko. No prizes for guessing who she's sending up. I don't know what I was expecting, but I think it was something close to that. Which culminates in a battle where Shiraishi has to smack an oversized Satoko in the ankles with a gravestone she pulled out of the ground. Meanwhile, Shiraishi has been chewed up over the radio by her boss Kohinata for going to Saiga without permission, and for deploying her firearms against unarmed spirits. The procedure is all well and good, but you weren't promised Kuchikamizaki only to have the dream pulled out from under you, Kohinata. You cannot relate. This is not an accusation of spiritual illegality, but in accordance with the Act on Prevention of Unjust Acts by Spirits, you will be questioned as an administration case. I love it. Partway through, she just kicked her in the face. It is revealed that the infamous Hanako, the one from the toilet, Hanako from the toilet, has been telling spirits to gather in Saiga for some reason. Shiraishi makes a connection between this and her missing competition prize, and takes the most logical next step. Assuming that Hanako is in the third toilet stall at school, Shiraishi goes to the nearest school and starts searching the bathrooms, as you do. Thankfully, it's an abandoned school. If you're going to check the school bathrooms, you're probably going to want to check out an abandoned school and not, one that's currently in use. You'll never catch me. On the way to the next location, Shiraishi is ambushed by shrine maidens from the nearby Saiga shrine. She manages to take a couple of them out and give the rest the slip. Once she reaches the abandoned school, it turns out there's not just one Hanako, but a unique Hanako for every school, and they've all gathered in Saiga, under the command of one head honcho Hanako to rule them all. What follows is a grueling battle from the bottom to the top, blasting spirits in the face and crawling prone to avoid a mounted gunner. Upon reaching the third floor, it is discovered the whole area seems to consist entirely of toilets, and thus a gauntlet of jump scares and toilet stall battles ensue. Just as head honcho Hanako was about to spill the beans on why they were all there, Kohinata gives the order to fire missiles at the school with Shiraishi still inside, almost killing her in the process. The Shrine Maidens manage to rescue her from almost certain defeat, and they reveal to her what really happened. The Spiritual Affairs Bureau deceived the town of Saiga, stole their spiritual artifacts, eliminated the town's people, and put up a spiritual barrier to stop anybody who isn't with the SAB from being able to leave the town. Indebted to the Shrine Maidens that saved her life, Shiraishi agrees to help their leader, Ayane Saikawa, defeat the SAB and take down the barrier. The plan ultimately fails, leading to Saikawa sacrificing her freedom to allow Shiraishi to escape, ending in a final standoff back in Tokyo, as a full-scale nationwide riot breaks out at the National Diet. She did manage to get her giveaway prize, though. Oh yeah, fermented saliva time! I've not heard of mouth-chewed... If I told you that it was mine, would you still want to drink it? Yeah, of course. No problemo at all. How old are you? Like 14? Perfect. I said the younger the better. Whoa. That's a reaction image for Twitter. Is this game set in Kinki, or is this game actually Kinki? Oh, this game's Kinki.
Trust me, you don't want to hear the story about the person who didn't subscribe. He died.
I got nothing but the highest praise for the writing. It's witty, biting at times, and extremely harrowing. This is equal parts a spoof of horror movies, but also a chilling commentary on war. The dialogue is sometimes cliched, as though it came out of a classic American war film. Even so, certain scenes such as those that take place in the flashback in Saiga are uncomfortable and unnerving. Being made to play an unwinnable scenario as you fight back against an endless swarm of suicide spirits that attempt to blow you up is equally funny as it is utterly mortifying. This isn't very subtle, is it? Little set pieces here and there, like the previously mentioned Satoko fight, or the part where you get to rain explosive missile havoc on spirits from inside an APC, use comedy to punctuate the more chilling moments of the story. I would not have expected this much depth from the creator of Stayhomer, a quality shitpost poking fun at those who would potentially spread a disease by ignoring guidelines, as well as pointing out the sheer absurd lengths to which those in charge would go to enforce the rules. You could see a through line in terms of game controls and feel, along with a similar gameplay engine underneath. In the final mission of KSAB, Shiraishi dons the Stayhomer armor and starts off with a rocket launcher. In my own headcanon, I like to believe that Shiraishi-san herself was out disinfecting the streets in order to allow Tokyo 2020 to go ahead unaffected. That sounds like something she'd do. Are we also walking around with the Stayhomer rocket launcher? I think we are. Who else would be doing something this crazy? I played KSAB on PC, where the game is locked to 30 FPS out of the box. There is a toggle for 60 FPS, but Muteki-san developed the game on a PC with a low spec, so a smooth 30 FPS was targeted. In other words, 60 FPS wasn't tested. I've had mixed performance, but nothing game-breaking, no crashes, no stalling, outside of the long initial load time when you start a level for the first time. I haven't had a chance to test the game on consoles. While I am thorough, I don't feel the need to acquire KSAB for consoles just to be able to test its performance. But Armada Games claims to have tailored the graphics settings for the console it's running on, so you may fare better on console. I just cannot say with certainty. The lack of toggle for sprint is not convenient when playing with a controller, requiring the player to hold the stick into sprint, which is counterintuitive. Also, I'm not sure if this is due to my use of a DualSense controller, but I was unable to interact with the game's menus with my gamepad, needing to navigate them with the keyboard. Due to this, I ended up doing my playthrough with mouse and keyboard to avoid any controller issues. I know you all seem to enjoy those finding the origins of obscure images type videos on YouTube, so we get to go on a little fun tangent now. I like to have a poke around inside games, especially when they're Unity games, because it's easy. People know this about me, and KSAB is no different. I extracted all 30,000 assets, so I could have a poke through them at my leisure, and I discovered that KSAB is referred to internally as J-Horror, which seems to be the name it was being developed under before its final name was chosen. And it's been fun examining the game's textures like this. Would you like a fizzy kook, little boy? A Funtar orange? Or how about a Pumpit? A Blast? Looking through the assets, I discovered this screenshot that appears partway through the game. That is a picture of an actual Japanese YouTuber named Cocoon, who covers horror games. A channel I have now subscribed to. Discovering this, I realized that perhaps more of the stuff featured in the textures across the game may refer to other content creators, and it turns out they in fact do. This texture, from late in the game, shows VTuber Asuka Oka, who does both male and female voices and streams for a Chinese and Japanese audience. This texture is a screenshot showing Japanese VTuber Sankyu, who covers mainly horror games and commentates on them. This particular channel is a goldmine of horror games that don't appear to be all that well known in Japan, so are therefore extremely, infinitesimally obscure anywhere else. Let's just say, don't touch that dial. That's right. I'm going to cover the same games that Cocoon and Sankyu have, because why not? I couldn't find an origin for this Mitan lady in Google Lens, PimEyes, SourceNow, TinEye. I even tried resizing the image to make it search better. No luck. I found a Japanese adult video with a lady wearing the same houndstooth maid outfit, but the face doesn't match. Any idea who it is, folks? I'm leaving this one up to you guys to investigate. Who is this Mitan lady? That's enough texture fun. Let's wrap this up for now. I recommend Kinki Spiritual Affairs Bureau completely. I have zero caveats, complaint issues outside of those mentioned earlier. I know it's rare for me to just be able to completely recommend a game, but I do. I also recommend this game, especially for achievement and trophy hunters. You can get the platinum or full complete on your first playthrough on any difficulty with no unmissable trophies, and you'll have a whale of a time doing it, with its roller coasting writing and almost schizophrenic sense of humor. Kinki Spiritual Affairs Bureau is a deliciously twisted third-person shooter, and the kind of game that can only come from the mind of someone like Noto Muteki. It's $13 or just under £10 on consoles, $10 or £8.50 on Steam. I bought it at 22% off earlier this year, and during summer sale it has been as low as 25% off. So keep an eye on it over the winter if you're looking to save a few bucks, though honestly, at its current price, it's already fairly priced for a roughly 4-hour game, if you take the time to watch all the cutscenes and get a little stuck here and there. I look forward to seeing what Muteki-san comes up with next. If you know of any Japanese indie games I might want to cover on this show, drop them in the comments below. Also, would you drink chewed sake? Let me know. This has been SushiBites. Thanks for watching. Trick or treat, lick my feet.